The CEO of United Health was assassinated in Midtown Manhattan this morning, and this story is wild. Apparently, a manhunt is still underway. By the time you watch this, there will probably have been updates, and the story will have been concluded. But we're already seeing many on the left, and this is to be expected, saying things like billionaires are on notice. If you look at the history of United Health, it is very easy to find a motive for the assassination of this is the largest health insurance provider. Now, this guy, Brian Thompson, was the CEO of one arm of the company, United Health Group. So I don't know if United Health is necessarily the biggest, but United Health Group is. And this guy was one of their executives running one of their 4 divisions. Questions about the motive, I think, are fairly obvious. A cursory Google search of United Health will give you a litany of people complaining about denials, a story about a massive data breach, claims that they used an error-prone AI that would deny 90% of claims. I'm not saying any of that's true. I don't know. But trying to understand a motive for this assassination, and it is, again, not hard. That being said, with this news being breaking, and we still have developments underway, which I'll read into, I gotta be honest, it could literally be like a lover's tryst of some sort. It can be a former business partner that was screwed over. It could entirely be random. We have no idea. But they do have a description of the shooter. There's an image of the man and what he was wearing. I know YouTube will not take kindly to it, but I implore YouTube, as this man is underway and this news is breaking, I think it is the utmost important that while I'm not going to show anything graphic, we do have a description, an image of the individual's clothes and what they were wearing. You don't see a face, but it appears to be an image of a man wearing a hoodie, aiming a gun. Now, United Health was having their investor meeting. We got a lot of news to break through, to go through on this one. Let's just read the story here, and I give you the basic breakdown. This is the Wall Street Journal reporting. United Health executive shot dead outside Manhattan hotel. The chief executive for United Health's insurance arm was fatally shot outside of a hotel in New York City Wednesday morning, according to a person familiar with the matter. Brian Thompson was shot in the chest and leg before United Health was set to hold its annual investor meeting. The company ended the meeting early. The New York City Police Department said a 50-year-old man was shot around 6:45 a.m. near a Hilton hotel on 6th Avenue in Midtown Manhattan. Police officers found him unconscious. He was taken to a hospital in critical condition and later pronounced dead. Police are still searching for the suspects, but said they didn't believe there was any threat to the public. Police said they didn't know the suspect's motive. And I think that makes sense. That if they're looking at this like an assassination, then this person likely is trying to escape and is not going to be targeting any other individuals. It's not random. They say United Health Group is a healthcare giant that includes the biggest American health insurance insurer, as well as doctors groups and other assets. Thompson was the CEO of its insurance unit, United Healthcare. The company is based in Minnesota, but top executives were in New York on Wednesday for its annual investor day. The company abruptly cut off its investor event due to the attack. Andrew Whitty, chief executive of the parent company, came on stage around 9 a.m. to say the company was dealing with a very serious medical situation with one of our team members and would end its live presentation. Thompson, a longtime United Health veteran, took over as leader in 2021. Before that, he oversaw the insurer's Medicare and Medicaid businesses. He began working for the company in 2004, graduated from the University of Iowa in 1997 with a business degree, according to his LinkedIn page. United Health did not return a request for comment. We have a live feed right now from this breaking story. This is New York Times reporting a manhunt is underway. And I believe I do have images of the shooter in question somewhere. There's a lot of stories that I'm trying to pull up, but I'm not sure if the New York Times has it or Reuters has it. But actually, I think, do we have the New York Post here? Here we go. So this is the image in question. Now, look, I'm not one to share shot content or gore or anything like this. I don't know if this is a man pointing a weapon or what he is pointing. They say the hooded shooter fled. The only reason I'm showing this is because I think it's important that people have a description of this individual, one, for their own safety. So, of course, my concern is that YouTube will try and suppress this video for advertiser reasons. I don't care. People need to know what this guy looks like for their own safety and to help bring this person to justice. It appears that they're wearing either all black or gray, a hoodie, black jeans, black shoes with white soles, and a gray or cream-colored backpack. So the police are requesting anybody with knowledge or information to report this. Right now, they're saying a manhunt is underway. Police officers were still searching for the gunman who fled on foot along the Avenue of the Americas. He was wearing a cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, and a gray backpack. Now, that seems strange to me. I don't know. They say cream-colored jacket in this photo. The New York Post says is of the shooter. It appears he's wearing a black hoodie. So I don't know what to tell you. The police believe Mr. Thompson was targeted in the attack, according to two people familiar with the investigation who spoke on the condition of anonymity. The shooting happened on the morning of the company's annual investor conference in New York. The gunman apparently knew which door Thompson was going to enter and shot him several times from a few feet away and then fled. The gunman, the people said, ran, jumped on a bicycle, and pedaled away. This was a planned assassination. This guy's likely probably already thrown off his clothing, ditched the backpack, whatever, and has completely blended in. I don't know if they'll be able to find this guy. This is crazy. So I've got a bunch more information here. We have a video report. This is from local news.
Breaking news. A man shot in Midtown just a short time ago. We're told he is in grave condition. It happened on 54th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues. Police telling us a 50-year-old man was struck in the chest. He was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, and police tell us they are looking for a man with a black mask and carrying a gray backpack. We are told he fled through an alley near the Ziegfeld Theater. No word yet on what led to the shooting. We do have Kirsten Cole at the scene. And
Ian Miles Chong said his company was set to merge with another one, and that's what the investor meeting was about. Now, I don't know if there's any kind of political motivation, but it was fairly obvious that there is the fairly obvious one. As soon as I saw this story, I'm thinking some dude's daughter got sick and got denied. That's it. Because we hear a lot of these stories. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's true that these companies are evil and denying people for fake reasons, but that's certainly what a lot of people have reported. Now, I want to stress, too, I don't know enough about United Healthcare's inner workings or what these insurance companies do or do not do. The people that I know who work in insurance say that they almost never deny claims. And so I've had friends, and we've talked about this. I've asked them, like, do you guys, like, is it true that, like, just you deny everything? And they're like, no, that's ridiculous. Like, usually people, we just stamp it. We say good. And sometimes people are pushing BS. But then why do you hear so many stories about people getting their healthcare claims denied? Well, I would call it either it's true, they do that, and that's the simple solution, for sure. These healthcare companies deny in large amounts. Take a look at this story from Ars Technica. United Health uses AI model with 90% error rate to deny care, lawsuit alleges. For the largest health insurer in the U.S., AI's error rate is like a feature, not a bug. This story is from about a year ago, mid-November 2023. Ars Technica writes, United Healthcare, the largest health insurance company in the U.S., is allegedly using a deeply flawed AI algorithm to override doctors' judgments and wrongfully deny critical health coverage to elderly patients. This has resulted in patients being kicked out of rehabilitation programs and care facilities far too early, forcing them to drain their life savings to obtain needed care that should be covered under their government-funded Medicare Advantage plan. That's all according to a lawsuit filed this week in the U.S. District Court for the District of Minnesota. The lawsuit is brought by the estates of two deceased people who were denied health coverage by United Health. The suit also seeks class action status for similarly situated people, of which there may be tens of thousands across the country. I'll say this. There could be a couple ways to look at it. United Health denies 90% error rate, and that denies care. It doesn't always deny care. An error rate sometimes means it could be fixed. Or it could be a scaling problem. You're the largest healthcare provider in this country. Let's just play this game. I call it the scaling problem. Let's say you have 100 customers. You deny one person. And they argue and say, I shouldn't have been denied or whatever. Well, that one person goes on social media and said, why did I get denied? The other 99 say, I didn't. Everything was fine. You see one story on the internet and people go, I don't know, whatever. That's 1% denial rate. Let's say you now have 100 million customers and you deny 1% of those claims. That's 1 million people all posting on social media, all saying they were denied. And you end up with all of these crazy stories that sounds like the company is evil and intentionally blocking people's insurance claims. Or it could be mismanagement, errors. The point is, despite it being the same percentage of denial, there is less tolerance. So I've heard of the scaling problem as when a system grows larger, tolerance for error diminishes. And that's because more and more people complain, and it seems like the system is breaking down. I can show you some of these things. Take a look at this. Leopards ate my face. This is one of the more worrying posts, but I'm sure there's way more violent ones. Leopards ate my face is a subreddit. Let me read it. Quote, I never thought leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's face party. It's probably an Onion article or something. I don't know. But the point of the subreddit is to mock people who have brought about their own destruction. Like a woman who votes for the leopards eat people's face party, then gets her face eaten. And it's like, well, this is what you voted for, right? Explain to me why. This post has 1,700 upvotes, 558 comments, and they're acting like this guy did something to deserve assassination. The implication they are making is that this individual was engaging in actions that would result in his death, and he should have known better. And that is insane. We don't know enough about the company. I'm no fan of big insurance companies and big pharma or anything like that. But to imply that this guy did something wrong without evidence and that he deserved what he got, or at the very least was the cause of his own destruction, is insane. Now, I'll stress again, maybe the assassin is like, you know, here you go. 10 years ago, he married a woman who left her fiance for him. And he stood up at the altar. They were at the altar and he stood up and said, I object to this wedding. And the man said, what? How dare you? And he says, I truly love you. And the woman was like, I love you too. And then she runs away and this guy says, I'll get revenge, even if it takes me 10 years. Who knows? Okay, I really doubt that scenario. My point is, he could have been doing a lot of things. He could have had a bad bet, made a wager on Mike Tyson, said there's no way Tyson loses. I'd do $100,000. And then when it didn't, work out, he didn't pay up. And then somebody said, you don't pay up, you get the lead. You know what I mean? Who knows? Now, I gotta be honest. Occam's razor suggests this assassination is targeted and it has to do with his company. He was at an investor meeting. So if we look at it through that lens, what is the most likely reason? I think it's a guy who has a denial story. There's a ton of denial stories, and it makes the least amount of assumptions. Certainly this guy, like people have beefs and things like that, but they don't typically result in murders. To be fair, neither do insurance claim denials, but it seems more likely to be that motivation because it's such a common theme we know about. Let's look at the top comment. Someone said, sounds like a hit. UHC kills people every day. I don't doubt someone may be pissed off enough to do this. Someone else said, I'm absolutely surprised this doesn't happen more often. One individual said, I'm sure someone's mother, father, sibling, child had a completely treatable but expensive to treat illness that UHC denied it was not covered under their health care. And at that point in their grief snapped. Like, what would you or I do if your child was denied treatment so UHC's board members got bigger bonuses on top of their already 7-figure salaries? Pretty sure I would at the very least consider this route. That's insane. I got to be honest. I never would. An insurance company denying something is very, very different from an individual directly harming your child. And this guy, as the CEO, is not directly or personally responsible. Unless there was something that led up to this moment. Now, I doubt it. Look at this. Look at these comments. This is insane. Is a gunshot a pre-existing condition? Claim denied. Absolutely insane. One person says, because there is something seriously wrong with our nation. There's a few stanzas from a poem by Charles Bukowski called Dinosauria We, that I like, which I think is appropriate. It says, quote, we are born like this, into these carefully mad wars, into the sight of broken factory windows of emptiness, into bars where people no longer speak to each other, into fist fights that end as shootings and knifings, born into this, et cetera, into hospitals, which are so expensive, it's cheaper to die. One person said, some people live, some people die. It's just business. Shrug. I'm not condoning such act, but I will say karma is a B. This is insane. I'm sorry, man. Look, I'm going to show you some examples, right? This is not from a leftist server. It's from insurance. One person said, United Healthcare claim was denied because my urgent care facility was out of network. But when I called member services before going, the rep said it was in network. Do I have recourse? Here's another one. Healthcare claim denied. Denied all claims this year for being out of network, but they aren't. What do I do? Here's another one. United Healthcare appeal denied. Denial of coverage. Lack of medical necessity. The South Hospital for an infection requiring IV antibiotics. It was denied. I don't know if here's another one from ProPublica. United Healthcare tried to deny coverage to a chronically ill patient. He fought back, exposing the insurer's inner workings. This is from last year, February. It's almost 2 years ago. I'm not here to defend this company, but the idea that we have all of these people on social media acting like this guy deserves it as an individual because of the structure of insurance companies, that's terrifying to me, because the implication is that more people would or should be doing it. And that's absolutely not true. Now, don't get me wrong, man. I think our insurance system is busted. I've told this story numerous times. 10 years ago, I got a kidney stone. First and only time I ever got one, knock on wood. And I had no idea. I thought they thought it might be appendicitis. People don't understand this. It's not like you go to the bathroom and you're like, oh no, it hurts. It feels like you're being stabbed in the kidney stone. And so I keeled over. I took a taxi to the hospital because I can't afford an ambulance. Not kidding. I used the app and I called the taxi. Went to the hospital. And when I got out, I think the bill was something, I can't remember the numbers, so forgive me. If you go back to my older videos around the time it happened, you'll see me talking about it with probably more accurate numbers. But it was something like, I think $16,000 for an overnight stay. And I called them and I was like, this is insane. And they were like, have your insurance cover. I said, look, I just left Vice and I had a week gap in my insurance. And this is when it happened. And they went, oh, no problem. We'll update this. I got a new bill for like $4,000. And I was like, huh? It might have been 40 at first, down to like 12 or something. I can't remember the exact numbers. All I know, it was insane. Now, with all due respect to ABC News Univision's joint venture Fusion, as much as I can admonish their failures, when I told them what happened, they agreed to pay it, no questions, saying, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you. Because I talked to them and I was just like, hey, this kind of sucks. I was asking about insurance and how it worked. I was like, hey, do I have insurance right now? Because I went to the hospital for a kidney stone. They sent me a bill and they were like, okay, well, you don't because you didn't start, but don't worry, we're going to cover that for you. So I respect that tremendously. Credit where credit is due. My bigger picture concern here is there are many people who are acting like this is a good thing that a man just lost his life, and we don't know anything about it. He's got grieving family. He's got kids. If we want to dismantle this system, we need to focus on that system. If you want to target a bad CEO, bring litigation, make him regret it in public life. Okay? Tell these stories. Get the word out. And this is the power of culture to make these changes. This won't. Because as they say, when you cut off the head of a hydra, only two more grow in its place. Or I should say not only, but two more grow in its place. All this will do is entrench the problems. Now they're going to beef up security, make it harder to contact them. They're going to allocate more resources towards legal defense and security, and they are going to deny claims. It's not going to change things. This is not the way to go about it. Scary stuff, man. I don't know. It's not typically the news that I cover, but I gotta be honest. I immediately, and many people are tweeting this, that they think there's a leftist persuasion, an anti-corporate. I mean, I just had that tweet pulled up where he says, the rest of you billionaires take note, you're next. This is a guy on X. There's not very many views. I think the post has already been flagged and shut down, but it's not hard to find people that are coming outright and just saying they want more of this. The comments in that Reddit thread where they're gloating or mocking this guy's death are worrying, because you may say, oh, Tim, these people are just commenting online. They're not calling for any violence. No, I'm not going to condemn them for their opinions. By all means, they can have them. But I tell you this, when you have a prominent social media platform and there's thousands of comments where they're all laughing and gloating about it, this is the line moving towards a world you do not want to live in. I will also stress this. The other day, Jen Cougar appeared on Breaking Points with Crystal Ball, where she defamed me and lied and claimed that I was paid to push propaganda, which is fake news. Completely not true. I asked Jen, I was like, maybe you'll reach out to her and ask her to retract that statement. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, why not? We're trying to stop fake news, right? I know it's personal stuff, but let me get to the point. Jen asked me what happens with the Russia stuff. It's simple. We have a company that produces a show. We were approached by a well-known conservative podcaster who owns a company in Tennessee to license a show. They believe the number we got paid was exorbitant, but it is not. If you look at Travis Kelce getting $100 million for his show, Call Her Daddy $100 million, Joe Rogan $250 million. You go to somebody with like around 10 million followers, I think I got across the board, maybe like, I don't know, 9 or something million, and you want to license out a show, this is the rate. Why? I'll just give you guys the inside baseball. I mean, on one episode of a show that goes for 2 hours, you can easily generate with that size 50 to 100K in ad sales. This is not a joke or an exaggeration. You're probably not going to reach that 100K in direct ad sales, until you get the show bigger. But Culture War could easily do 50K, and we have sold those sponsorships. My point is this. I know what it's like when people spread lies at the highest level that is absolutely not true about me. And you guys can see, you know it's not true. We run an independent company and we have license agreements. You know it's a lie and a smear. But all of the people in that audience who are insane send us death threats. They SWAT us. We have crazy people pulling up. We had to install a security perimeter, hard physical gating, and hire armed security guards with big guns because people believe insane things that are not true. The reason why I get personal on this one is this dude who lost his life. There's some crazy person who's going to say, this guy did this thing. It's going to be a lie. It's going to be a misinterpretation. And these psycho leftists, it doesn't even have to be a leftist, but in this regard, the people who don't like these private companies and insurers are going to be like, these evil people must be stopped. And it's going to be fake news. The death threats that I get, because I can relate, to this concern, they're absolutely fake. I recently had someone come to us and threaten me 3 times in public over fake news. And that's the fear. In this world where we tolerate things like this, and we should not, but I'm saying these people are, you will get a crazy person who believes crazy things because of the fake news, and innocent people will die. So by all means, slam the healthcare companies for their failures. They're trash. I don't like them, but we don't tolerate this stuff. We'll have more probably on this later. I could rant on this kind of stuff for a while because my fear ultimately is that violence escalates. And I know that assassinations happen. Okay. I'm just saying no tolerance for this stuff. I hope they find this guy and bring him to justice. And I feel for this man and his family. He didn't deserve this. Okay. If he's a bad guy, does something wrong, you bring him to court, you prove it, you sue him, he gets criminal charges, whatever needs to happen. And then you let the people know why he's a bad person and why we don't stand for it. But this is evil. I'm going to wrap it there. Smash the like button, share the show. We got more segments coming up. Next will be in the following hour. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all then.